What about you, Tevo?
Oh, that's been crazy. I think I've never been seen that many people or talked to that many people in my life before. I think this 1 year I did my rest of life. I usually am very my own, doing coding in a corner, trying to talk to as least people as possible and get by like that.
Can I say something to Tevo? You were the first one that answered us on our proposal. And I thought you were kind of harsh at first until I was able to meet you. Now I like you a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very like, when I get an opinion, I just
down to business. Down to
drop
business.
everything.
Like, are you going to do this? What are you doing? Yeah.
To you, Tevo, there was an interesting thing as well. I remember back in March when we started the whole swarm stuff and everything. I've been there in the calls, never saying something. I think for 1-2 months, just listening. And then you literally just, I don't know what happened to you, but something happened and bam, you started to host, to workshops, to throw yourself into a bunch of projects. But a lot of respect for what you are doing, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's related to something that I learned from this community, is that I usually always like ask questions and wait for like confirmation from almost everybody. So if like nobody said anything, hey, can I do this? Should I do this? What do you think about this? And if there was no like if there were like 50 people in the room and only 1 or 2 people say, yes, that's good, great idea, do it, then I'm like, okay, maybe 48 of people then don't want me to do it. So I just get silence. But at some point I was just trying and then got feedback. Yeah, that's great, keep doing it. Like slowly moving away from always trying to find the confirmation, but just like doing and leading. Then we'll see when this is going to turn bad, but so far it's been great experience.
Yeah.
Well, what about, sorry if I will point out some people I know, okay, they stick here since a while and the experience might be interesting for others as well who joined just recently. For example, Lucio. Lucio is the Italian magician. Amazing, good guy. What about you?
Okay, for me, it was really similar to what Tevo said, because I usually worked alone on my own projects. And I don't know, this idea to contact people, to talk to other people, really gave me this awareness that I can improve myself and also build something better with the help of others. So basically, this, I don't know, it was like an activation in my mind of this collaboration effort. And it was really the best thing that I learned this year. And also the idea to not ask for permission, but just build your stuff, see what the results are. And maybe sometimes you make mistakes, but it's good because you can learn from your own mistakes. And also one really good thing is when you make some mistakes, there is always someone else that will help you. And this is really crucial. I think it's really important. And if you don't experience this, you will never know. And so it's really important to be open with your actions, engage other people, and then watch how things can become, basically.
Beautiful. Yep, definitely agree with this. And Nori, what about you?
Wow, I've just been reflecting on this year. I showed up around February or March and got involved with Swarm even before my first town hall. So I met a lot of the engaged community first, and then it's been just a wild ride since then. From March until about 6 months, I decided this is where I want to spend my time. So I put in my notice at work after 6 months, and 3 months later made it possible to step out of my full-time job, kind of retire into Fulltime Catalyst. And ever since then, I've just been involved with all sorts of stuff. And it's such a welcoming community. And I think it's been mentioned, it's permissionless as well. Like nobody's going to say no, just jump in and do stuff where your passion lies. And there are so many different opportunities to cater to every kind of skill set. And we have a treasury to fund ideas. We have all these different things happening, and you can be technical, you can be artistic, you can just know marketing, you can be a connector and connect people. There's a place for everybody. And it's really amazing to see so many people kind of jumping in full time and just doing stuff here. And it's a really amazing community. Like I've tried to branch out a little bit and dip into other communities and other blockchain communities. And I just have to say, it's like Catalyst is an amazing thing. It's so precious because it doesn't, I haven't found it elsewhere. I found a lot of toxic communities and a lot of really not so greatly run communities. And every time coming back to Catalyst is like slipping into that hot tub. It's just so comforting and reassuring to know that there are so many passionate people here working to make the world a better place. So I'm super happy to be engaged. And yeah, I want to say I love you all. And it was a great 2021, and I look forward to what we do in 2022.
Agree. And that's one interesting thing you said. We are going full time into Catalyst because Lucio, you did the same, right? Tevo, you did the same.
Yes, almost.
Exactly.
It's crazy to think about this like 1 year ago. That it's really hard when I have to explain this to my mother, for example. It's really strange because there is I don't know, really.
So you're making money, and why do you have to explain to mom? Because the money.
No, not about this, but in general, because we used to have I don't know, usual jobs here in Italy, for example. So when your parents talk about the job, they imagine something usual, and if you start talking about a community online with people from all over the world in the crypto space. What is crypto? What is and it's really strange that one can live on this kind of things if you're not knowing this kind of things. So it's I don't know, but I'm really proud of it.
Reason to be as well. Definitely. And being full-time on Catalyst, I think sometimes it's funny when you do your shopping and people ask, yeah, where's the real life impact of blockchain? You can say, yeah, okay, what you have in your fridge, the stuff you pay your life with, comes from Catalyst. So when somebody asks, yeah, but where does your improve? How does blockchain looks in real life? How can you apply it? So I'd say, well, my fridge is full. This is crypto, right? It's really interesting to live on the situation as well. And amazing to see that we arrived somehow, because this was not, we couldn't even imagine this a year ago, I think, no? Full-time on Catalyst, there wasn't nothing on place. And now the community puts everything on place and encourages and empowers each other to say, hey, how can we move full-time here, dedicating all our time? What about you, Caue? Oh, José.
Hey, hi guys. I just arrived to the community, and I just wanted to say hi and then listen to you all guys and your stories. It's a path I want to walk. I don't have a technical background, so I've been just listening in the corner, trying to figure out where I can do something to support the community and to help. I've been just around. I will be around for, until I figure out how to help. But if any of you guys needs a hand on anything, please come in. I'm based out of Colombia, in Latin America, and this is something that I've been exploring for quite a while, and what I found here in this community, I like, and I would like to spend more time here. So just wanted to say hi and put myself out there.
Hey, Jose, and you're lucky because you said you're in Latin America, and we had a really nice challenge, which was called Crow Cardano, Crow Latin America. And there are a bunch of great projects coming right to you.
Yeah, I was a community advisor in this fund. And so I focused only on that challenge. And that's one of the ways that I've been around and just getting my heads to understand this huge initiative that I really it's been taking a lot of time. I come from the corporate world, and it's a huge mindset shift. But as I mentioned before, this is something that I like, and I would like to spend more time and throw myself full time if possible.
You should definitely reach out to Caue, who's right here in the call. He's one of the people leading the Latin American Swarm Initiative, Town Hall, and everything. So you will definitely get some great advice and opportunities by reaching out to them.
Great, I will. Thanks.
And when we are there already, Caue, what about your journey this year?
It's been a ride, Felix. I first got in and not knowing where to get information, who to talk with. As I began to read, it seemed something very distant, a possibility that wasn't concrete. Until I jump in, I start talking to you. You led me the way in Catalyst School, and I got involved. In Catalyst School, I watched every workshop that I could, from Tevo, Victor, everybody, Lucio, Philip. And I begin translating things. Then the Latam challenge came up. We got involved. It's been a real challenge. A lot of things happening, but learning a lot, getting to know a lot of people who knows a lot of everything. It's fantastic. I'm a little bit tired because this fund is being, a rush. But I'm fulfilled, and I think the most, what I take from this fund is networking and seeing the possibility of everyone comes together around an idea, even though if not everybody agrees with it, if there's criticism, but everybody joins, and it's a respectful and supportive community. So I think everybody, it's been a great journey. I hope that next year we can see all together and make great things. Thanks, everybody.
Totally agree on that. And Melanie, Randall, Marta, Steve, what about you? How have been your journey 2021 and Cardano Catalyst? How would you wrap up the whole year? Steve, there we go.
Dude, man, this has been one of the trippiest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I can't believe it's been over a year since I started nosing around in Catalyst, so it's kind of hard to capture it. I think I never imagined seeing so many anarchists working together. It's just kind of like a conundrum there. It doesn't make much sense. But it's, and I'm making a joke, but I've always felt like an anarchist on the inside, and you know, the fact that I could, I mean, how many, you know, like, I don't even know the numbers anymore. You know, it's like tens of thousands of people, you know, in Catalyst, and there's thousands of people, you know, between Discord, the town hall, and the Twitter community. And, you know, I literally, I can only think of 2 or 3 assholes, you know, I mean, everybody is great people, you know, everybody is sincere. Everybody is trying to provide value. And that's just, you know, it's, and I know I'm echoing what Nori said, you know, it's just, I've never experienced this, you know, and I've worked with groups of people, you know, off and on for the last 20 years, but I've never been a part of such a large group that was so synchronized together, you know. I mean, even with differing opinions about how to do what, or whether or not big stake pools are worse than little stake pools, you know, these are just kind of detailed kind of arguments that you know, we should consider together. You know, there's a lot of things to consider as it grows so quickly, but to be involved with people that are united, you know, in a very sincere way. You know, it's not just posturing, and it's not just, you know, ideology. You know, it's about, you know, it really is about making the world a better place. And so I remember in the first 3 months of this year, there were probably 3 times when I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, and thought about just pulling out, you know, but I'm so glad I didn't. You know, I'm so glad that I worked at it and worked through my stuff, you know, my feelings of inhibition about talking to people. And you know, the inhibitions about using social media software. you know, like I hated that shit. I would have never done that. I would have never gotten on Twitter. Would have never done Discord, you know, or gotten into Zoom calls or anything like that, you know, a year and a half ago. I just wouldn't do it. But I've met so many people. I mean, I don't know how many people know about it, but last week I started hosting Twitter spaces for some of these Grow Latin America proposers. And, you know, every day, you know, like the proposers that came onto those spaces and talked about their stuff. I mean, I didn't speak to anybody I thought who had a bad proposal. And that's amazing. I mean, that the quality of proposals in the Grow Latin America Challenge are just over the top good. You know, I wish there was enough money for all of them, you know, because literally the overwhelming majority of them have great ideas, have great plans, and have solid teams. You know, I mean, talking to scientists from Argentina, you know, I can't even talk to, you know, you talk about my mother's invested in Cardano, you know, Lucio was talking about that. So I don't have that problem, you know, like when I saw her for the family Christmas Eve, my mom comes up behind me. She says, "Hey, I saw Cardano's going back up again." I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome." She looked at me. She's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I did that." It made her laugh. But, you know, I thought, you know, and it's a big joke, and I know that I have very little to do with anything, but at the same time, it is what we are all doing. You know, we are making Cardano a really valuable thing. And, you know, I know that's the tech and it's the software and everything, but, you know, without this community and without all the effort going into building these dApps, you know, it wouldn't be happening the way it is. And I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to this year more than any other year in my life, just because of what I see being built, you know, what I see people doing, you know, for one another and with one another. there's just so many opportunities for collaboration, and it's going to help all of us, and I think it's going to help the world. So I'm very lucky.
What about Melanie? Go for it.
Hey, Felix. It's so nice to be here. I will have to scoot away. I've got family visiting for the holidays. Our tiny home is full of people and it feels, really good. And they couldn't quite, my daughters couldn't quite understand why I would take away family time to be here, because family is my heart, and everything I've done has to do with my family. And I said, you guys, I have this whole other life, and I have this place that I go to recharge. And that's exactly what happens with you guys. And I look around this 20 participants and I go, I know you, Tevo, I know you, Derek, I know you, Scott. Dan, I don't know you very well yet. Jose, I don't know you very well yet. Louis, I don't know you very well yet. Marie, I'm getting to know you. Nori, and I can't pronounce your name, but I know you. I've seen you around. And Yoram, oh my God, I can't even say enough about this man who raises the bar above and beyond what I would have ever imagined. Lucio, Randall, Matthias, Elias, Steve, Paul, I don't know yet. Marta, I'm getting to know. Themba Lethu, I don't know you yet. But, that's the cool thing about this. We are coming together from all over the world and doing this collaboration. I've had major paradigm shifts in my thinking. I've always been in places that didn't feel safe, couldn't be myself. Definitely not reaching the highest in human collaboration. And this place has that constantly. This is a safe environment to collaborate, to figure it out, to do what needs to be done. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and whatever I have belongs here. And I feel like this is worth doing, worth investing this portion of my life in full time. Good to take a break every now and then, but it's also good to come back together. And I'm really looking forward to 2022. When I look back and just think, the few months that we've been together and the way that we've been growing and coming together, it's like, it blows my mind. Never expected this. It constantly surprises me. Yeah. So I think I'm done. And Nori, yeah. So very special people here. And if you're new, I don't know if you're new or not, but it's really a very cool place to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I might want to just pipe in and reiterate some of the things that others have spoken. I'm really new to Cardano. I came to the Laramie, Wyoming summit and was really impressed with the people that I met there, and felt very welcomed. And I've been involved in blockchain for a long time. I mean, and last 20 years of my life has been spent in Southeast Asia, mostly Malaysia and Indonesia, and New Zealand. And just been deeply involved in blockchain stuff, but I've never really run into a community that wasn't kind of tech oriented or driven by things that were kind of beyond what I was interested in. And when I finally kind of ran into some of the people in the Cardano space, I began to realize there's a group of people out here who are more than just about being technical. I do have a technical background, but I missed being engaged with people who had the diversity that's necessary to build a better world. You know, you can't do it with just tech folk. You know, that's just there isn't the richness, the diversity that's required to make a better world. And you know, I guess I found a deep, refreshing quality to the people here, knowing that, you know, it's all about community. Ultimately, that's where all the value comes from. And if we can find one like this and help to make it a better place, that's where I'm staying.
Thanks, Dan. And it's nice also to sometimes hear really experienced voices, newer voices. Gives a beautiful mix of everything. And Randall, what about you?
Well, this year has been so interesting for me because the Catalyst process has just grown so much while experiencing so much difficulty in that growth process. And it's been interesting to see how the community and how IOG have responded to these difficulties, and pausing the whole process for about 3 months or so was painful, but I also think it was appropriate. And I was totally impressed with the way, I think it was in Fund 5 or 6, there was such a shortfall in availability of people to do the CA work, and this non-organization responded, and suddenly we had all the reviews that we needed. And nonetheless, the amount of funding in 2021 was not enough to feed the people that are attracted to the community and that have plenty of value to deliver to the community. And it's encouraging to see the size of the fund increasing for 2022. For me, the challenge is to avoid the process growing horizontally so much that we can't scale it vertically, and to ensure that there's a way for there to be enough funds in a narrow enough set of categories to deliver really strong value in some of the most important categories. And so when I look forward, that's what's on my mind. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year soon, definitely. But Tevo was right. He said, would be cool to one day to come together and party New Year with each other, but it's kind of not possible when everybody's in the other time zone. So disadvantage of global community. But Marta, can I ask you, because it's a while also you are here already, and amazing to see your journey.
Yeah, I've been here since, I guess I started in March, just before Nori did, I think, just right around the time. Mostly began in Gimbal Labs, I mean, in terms of my interactions with other human beings. And those were amazing times. And then it's been wonderful to watch all the ways in which different community members who I've sort of traveled with have met different challenges and changed and evolved and grown in new ways, and how the swarm has changed and evolved in new ways. There's always new things being built up. And I think that trying to understand what is being built up and what it means to the broader world has been a challenge, and also very positive, I believe. And I think that one thing that has been, and I don't know if anybody else mentioned it, but in the crazy world we're going through right now with all this crazy stuff that's happening and changes to our world, I think that Catalyst has been a safe haven for those things, and it has allowed people to continue to grow and build, use their minds, create something, and that's so rare. And I see so many people in the world struggling, and there's less people struggling here. There are people who are actually engaging in new ways and finding new things to develop, and so I love that about this effort. And I also I have been more engaged. I've engaged with scientists in the external world that were not familiar with Catalyst in the last couple months, and it's been wonderful to just sort of see how to take my experience here and to be able to try to articulate what's happening with blockchain and with my experience with people who are outside of Catalyst, and seeing what I might, and in my mind, I always carry with me what I have learned and how I might bring it back and be able to add something that can be valuable to the Catalyst community. And I say the Catalyst community because it's kind of how I understand it, but also I think Charles is a huge part of my inspiration, and was in the beginning as well. And so I think that is that he constantly tries to change himself. I think all people in the Catalyst community also try to constantly change themselves and respond in new ways. So that's a creative environment, and I am grateful to you for that. I mean, I think that Felix has worked really hard to keep the community changing and evolving, and has done a really good job at that as well. So anyway, I'm really happy to have met the people I have met, and I'm very grateful. And I look forward to seeing Melanie's growth. I think she's done amazing work, and Steve and Randall and Gimbal Labs, everybody's done a really great job. And Tevo, particularly Tevo, because I've seen him grow quite a bit. So that's been wonderful. So anyway, and Nori too. So thank you so much, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Marta, I want to say it's just been such a pleasure to get to know you. It's like you're one of these people I feel like I found, or we found each other, and you've always just blown me away with, your ability to articulate and think and question. I'm very, very happy you're in the community. Thank you.
Same to you, Steve. And I didn't mean to leave and mention that, because you're so such a key part of the community. So I really have appreciated our interactions, and Randall too. Randall's been really helpful too. So thank you.
We should have this more often, just to let people speak about their overall experience. It's really amazing and beautiful to hear from you. So let's go, maybe some of the newer voices here. One, or whoever wants.
I'd love to hear from Yoram.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's mind-blowing just to hear everyone, and my voice is a little bit with some strong cold, so pardon my voice. No, but I mean, for me, it's just to hear everyone say, why we are all here, right? I mean, each person here is so much mind-blowing, and I heard myself saying to myself several times, it's mind-blowing, right? I mean, whatever we hear, the discussions, and that's the way I feel. It's kind of we got a chance to build something better than what we feel like what Steve said. I completely like. We are a group of anarchists coming together and building, and we get the chance to build something new that we like, and we can do it. So that's really what's so exciting for me here. I think every technology can be can be good or bad, and our job is to make this Cardano technology for good, right? And to bring what this technology can bring as something good, and bring me a lot of hope. That's really why I'm so excited. I mean, to be here, and I finally talk about the people. I mean, I work very close with Melanie and Nori on a daily basis, and Lucio, and so all of you. I mean, collaborating with a lot of you guys here, and obviously the support of Felix. So I mean, it just become an important part of life, and I think it's very tough to explain. They love to explain other people, what we are passing here. How can you explain? You start seeing Cardano and blockchain, and they all come with the same mantras. And so how you explain them? You just need to tell them, come on board, right? Come and see, come and you cannot explain you just by explaining. You need to come and take. It took me a couple of months, to be honest. In the first, it took me 2-3 months myself to understand what's going on here. And then when you understand, and when you start doing things, and you see things growing and connecting to the people, and I mean, just amazing. I mean, that's really my. So it's really amazing to be here with so many great people, and again with Melanie and Nori, we basically on a daily basis, and it's incredible how we connect from different places, different. So far away, different generation, different. Sorry for that. And we come together, and we create, and we have fun to be together, and we proactive, and we improve, and it's really incredible. And hopefully we can duplicate it and grow it, and show that there is another way it's possible, because we see so many systems that doesn't work today around us. So that's really my hope. And Melanie put the snail. So the snail, I mean, how we start and we grow and we scale it. I mean, inspired by Melanie, and creating growing impact. So that's a bit my experience. And 2022, I mean, if we continue to do what we are doing, I mean, it will be really incredible year. And it depends on us, right? So what's nice here, there's no one to blame. It's so it depends on us and what we do and how we take it forward. So exciting to see next year with all of you.
What about you, Matthias?
Oh well, I
one
just
thing before you talk. I think I saw Matthias just a few months ago, just like a new person, started talking like very smart talk. I was like, interesting, where he's going with all of that. And suddenly you are everywhere. You got in very fast, and just in like few weeks, pretty much you got the perfect proposal. Maybe not perfect, but very compared to what we all learned to do. Was like, that guy knows what he's doing. So just kudos. But I've been lurking a lot. No idea.
Thank you, Tevo. All credit goes to Daniel and his open source cloning technology. But all jokes aside, I'm just one guy who has incredible support. So I'm very lucky in that. But yeah, you're right. I try to be present, try to be engaged, because that's really something that, just like Melanie said, I come here to recharge. So whether that be 3-hour town hall sessions that become normal or longer, while it is often draining, I always feel re-energized after the fact. So if I think about this year, it's, where to even start, right? Because to me, especially compared to the previous year, it feels like it has gone by so fast, but yet so much has happened. It was just last month that I founded Locks with our other Cardano community members, of course, to make the world a better place, right? I mean, it's just reason why I joined late. I was just talking to a very interesting company based in France that I know Felix knows about as well because his name was mentioned. Felix is truly everywhere. Sometimes also behind the scenes. So he's really everywhere. Yeah, I mean, the community support is great. That was kind of the thing that differentiates, I think, the Cardano community to other crypto communities. So I'm always having fun, you know, talking with the folks over at Gimbal Labs, the Ambassadors Guild, and all the other groups that keep popping up. So Steve mentioned the Twitter Spaces. I was on one for the first time. Never listened to one before. So of course it's a good idea to start speaking right away. That went well. Quasar was part of it as well. So it's a lot of fun. And I think it's also because of the community that I really expect big things from the Cardano Foundation, because they found a better way. Well, it's not that they found a better way. The community made sure that the foundation finds a better way to be integrated. And I think in return, that makes that organization particularly stronger. So I'm really looking forward to what not only the community can do, but also, you know, the Cardano Foundation and IOG was mentioned as well. I think if we keep on the pressure in a sense, I think we are heading to great things in 2022. I'm not sure if it's going to be the moon or Mars or Alpha Centauri. I don't care too much at this point. I think we're still building the space vehicle, and that's, I think, at least as exciting as to, you know, see the view and who knows when and see it's like, oh, you know, we actually made this. Now you can do X, Y, and Z, and the world is better because of it. That's something that drives me. Yeah, it's a disorienting experience. I think that's a takeaway here. But I'm incredibly grateful to all of you. So thanks for letting me ramble as usual.
I might like to add that I like the metaphor about spaceships, how far we're going to go and where we're going to get to. But you know, coming from the background that I came from, I had the great fortune to meet with our Buckminster Fuller for the last few years of his life, and you know, I think this is really all about building a better spaceship Earth, as he used to call it. So I agree with your metaphor, but I think it's the spaceship we're on that we have to improve.
I'd like to add, I'm sending all my grandkids and kids, and I'm staying here.
Kenric, what about you and when you look back on 2021?
Well, it's been a fantastic year. I really enjoyed getting more involved in the community. And, you know, as others have said, I think there's great promise. And also, you know, a lot of hard work to kind of realize that promise, right? You know, I've been more active on the social media threads than I usually am. And, you know, I'm sort of gaining more awareness of the challenges that the community faces and trying to realize some of the opportunities in front of us. But it's all really exciting. Yeah. I think the big thing for me is it's been a thrill. I live in the United States, and you know, much of my engineering career was you know, focused on smaller communities of people. And in 2017, I was doing more open scientific research as a university professor at Boston University, and was really enjoying that. And then the cryptocurrency space has just opened that up dramatically. So as I talk to friends and colleagues, I explain to them, like, part of the joy of the whole work is, every day I'm on calls with people all over the world, just meeting really interesting people doing interesting things. So it's a unique community. And there's so much, it's interesting here, like Melanie and the work that Yoram is doing on the climate change. And I've been eager to kind of get more involved in their work, but I'm just already overwhelmed. Like, I don't know how to fit it into my week. But so, inspired with what they're trying to do.
Yeah, like Melanie like to say, it's only the beginning. So join us.
Well,
there's
and
there's a lot to do.
I don't know how far I'll progress with this, but I'm trying to recruit my son, who's he's he's in his internship period as an engineering student. So I'm trying to recruit him into the work. We'll see if he takes it on. And if so, maybe he can write our proposal on climate change.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to just scoot out of here. This has been really great. And I am just a co-facilitator. I would not be here if it wasn't for all the other people around me. So that's the cool thing. We kind of become these faces, but our bodies are this body of people. And it's really great to know each one of you and learn more. Kenric, yeah, I do see you popping in and out, and it's good to connect. And I feel like I get, I ignore people and without intention to do that. One thing Cardano for Climate does need is to bridge that gap between the heart and the head. We have the heads, of course, but the technology, that bridge, we are that place, and we're just really calling out to whoever can help us that has that heart. And we have space for you. There's a piece of the puzzle that fits, got your shape on it. So
right.
Okay, and I'm sorry I do have to leave because I want to keep my promise to my kids because they are very important. So love you all, and see you soon. Okay, ciao.
And Curtis, can I ask you as well? Because I think I saw you several times the last few weeks, months already.
Yeah. I've been here maybe since April, just kind of lurking for a few months in the background. Didn't really show my face or interact too much, just trying to understand the space and at least have a base foundation of what I'm talking about before I speak up, and then started getting involved with a lot of different of the faces I see here. And unfortunately, the past few weeks, I'd say I've been kind of struggling with priorities. I really want to work in this space, and I already kind of put in my notice to my boss that I'm leaving my full-time job and participate more in the space full-time. But when I did that, some of the fears started setting in of how am I going to make money? How am I going to pay, mortgage and all that stuff. So the past few weeks I've been kind of taking on a little bit too much and doing too many projects to sort of get that income. And it's pulled away from this side of the community. And this is the community that brought me into here. Cardano, of course, Charles was my inspiration to research more into Cardano. And then once I did, I found Catalyst, and my first meeting here, I was hooked. You guys all aligned with everything, that all my thoughts and the energy in here is exactly what I was looking for. So stuck around, but now I'm trying to figure out how to make a living, from participating and being involved. So as soon as I get some time, I'll sit down and maybe write something out. But We'll get there.
Maybe that's something we should focus on with. Here, Lucio, Tevo, maybe this is a nicer program for the Catalyst School. How to live on Catalyst workshop. Because there are a lot of possibilities, but you have to know about, right? You have to know, for referring, you get this, and as community advisor, this, and for proposer, this or this project, that. Because I think what we develop in Catalyst is very often contradictory to that we have one job with one specific, let's say, task list, you have your qualification, you have your role there. Instead here, it's really, I think no one will make a, let's say, secret living out of one job. One job is being yourself, collaborating with the projects which fits best to you. So you are not only with one project. It's a little bit about the whole ecosystem to figure out, okay, where's my place here? Where I do belong?
That's definitely, I don't know, the usual path in Catalyst, probably, that you start with something and after 2 months you are involved in 100 things, and that's the cool part. And it is really good that a lot of these parts can let you earn something. So basically, it's the way, I don't know, all of these roles are sustainable also in the long term, probably.
Yeah, I want to jump in there and kind of acknowledge, the courage, it takes to do what Curtis is doing, what people like Randall have done, and other people. I know I was in a chat a couple of weeks ago where people were talking about, the inner struggle of whether or not to jump in, and leave what they've been doing behind. That there's so much involved in that, and it says so much about, what everybody is recognizing, that, hey, this really is a new thing that will pay off in the long run, just by, making the commitment, and making that commitment, taking that leap, off the cliff, is embracing that possible future that gets more probable the more people do that. And I think a lot. I think visually. It always blows me away when people do these diagrams, and these pictures of the stake pool network, and these visualizations of the Catalyst network and the different parts of it, the different working parts of it, because they all end up looking like that image from the Chandra telescope where, the picture of the universe is showing these filaments of electrical connections between stars and galaxies and everything. And it's like we're recreating that in the Cardano community, and it really is its own neural network, on that level, and all of that's exactly like the way the brain works together. And I've just over and over and over this year, what I've noticed is people having the same idea at the same time, and that's cool. I mean, that's massive synchronicity, and it just blows me away that that's happening. And obviously none of us can say to anybody else, how do you do that? How do you let go of how you have lived in the past to embrace this thing in the future that's not clear, right? There's no right, there's no set paycheck coming to you, there's no benefits other than what you feel like you've done, and the feedback that you get from what you've done, and it's sustaining. That's what's crazy about it, is that more and more people are doing that and feel sustained by it, You know, like what Matthias said or Melanie said. You know, it's like this is a place to get recharged even as it burns you out, you know, and if that's not a fusion reactor, I don't know what is. It's just really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I feel like slowly as a community, we are moving towards where we learn the skills or we know what we want to become and we learn that, but we are able to start monetizing it. At first, yeah, it takes quite a while to understand how contribution can be rewarded and what is the value of contribution. But slowly with this kind of like putting out the proposals or contributing to other teams and just contributing to some other teams in order to execute something. And like Lucio said, you do it in like hundreds of projects, and everywhere you get like the 5 or a 10 or some contribution, what kind of makes your so-called paycheck, but it's never like it's like set time. Like it's very periodic. Sometimes it goes crazy, sometimes it just chills, and you have it's totally different lifestyle in what I have experienced. So yeah, it's a bit of scary, but over time I think it's more sustainable than what I experienced so far with like a centralized work where you do something where sometimes some weeks you keep doing something what you know doesn't have very strong impact, but you have to do it because others think that it has a good impact. But yeah, you can always argue and improve and say why should it be done differently, and when there's a reason behind it, then you always get the reason behind it. There's like always somebody says like cons and pros, and I mean that's crazy, and that we are a huge enterprise, but then again not.
And I would say also, I would add to that, Tevo, that obviously money is a requirement because we have to live, but the quality of the, I don't know, the satisfaction that I have with the work that I do in Catalyst, it's not comparable to everything else. So it's really important also to consider these aspects, not only the amount of money that you can earn, but also the quality of the satisfaction that you earn with your work, and see how it can be appreciated by others. It's extremely important. Obviously, as I said before, it's important to, I don't know, I feel privileged in some way because I had the chance to test it, but in general, if you have this possibility, it's really important to focus on the quality than the, I don't know, the amount of money that you can make probably.
Yeah, and I asked Lucio last week, okay, what make you happy? So what was his answer? Well, his answer was, I'm happy by helping other people, so solving problems for other people. So that's what makes him happy. So people imagine something they want to build, and he builds it for them, and that's amazing.
And I think too, like gaining the confidence that what you want to build is worthy of building, and that you sort of build a self-reliance, and that it integrates with the whole community, or even if that isn't obvious at first, but I think that it can and it does. And I think that sort of what Felix says, like, you know, whatever you want to do, you do it. And so at first that you don't really understand what that means, but over time you do. I think that's really important. And nobody can ever take that away from you, that sort of self-reliance that helps you to build something. So
some of the newer people. I seen Elias Virdis for quite a while in the session, but don't really recognize the name. How has your journey been on in the Catalyst?
Yeah, let's hear Elias' passion. He's very active actually in Cardano for Climate. You're here, Elias, with us? Yeah, I don't know if he's online. You have an amazing proposal about plastic recycling for Fund 7.
Maybe Paul Gualtieri is here because same name is don't recognize.
Sure, and apologies. I feel like I've gate crashed the Inner Circles holiday party here. I mistook this for the Cardano 360 end of year session, but at the same time, it's been nice to listen in and kind of see a nicely knitted together community. For me, as I look back on 2021, I think for me, it's more of like, for those of you that are familiar with the pop culture reference, it's like a Back to the Future for me. And before I try to explain, I'll just preface by saying I am fairly new and therefore, not fluent enough in all things blockchain to provide a fluent narrative of my 2021. But yeah, it's sort of Back to the Future. I grew up from mid 90s up until, 2010, let's say, pretty much having a pretty intensive online presence and experience and being a part of 2 or 3 or 4 online communities. We grew up together, and slowly over time, one community would kind of retire, another community would retire. And, until finally the last community I was in, folks sort of felt like it was time to transition into the physical world experiences a bit more for whatever reasons. And I followed suit and kind of didn't have as much of an online presence for whatever reasons, and started to connect more with like my career path and pursuits and just hitting the, the American dream milestones, etc., which I've made some progress on. And fast forward to this year where in the COVID posture, work from home posture, it's given me an opportunity to kind of explore public blockchains for one. I've been kind of on the sidelines for years, and finally I had the opportunity to kind of connect to it. And of course, it starts off with the typical pursuit of just being one of these retail investors that's getting in a speculative, volatile asset class and looking to, be first in the class, or to kind of profit down the line. And, I found Cardano and kind of became attracted to it for numerous reasons. And some of it were some of the more altruistic principles. And of course, I invested my little money into it over time. But that becomes a little bit monotonous and flat for me. Like of course it's invigorating, but I just didn't think it would sustain. And, it wasn't going to fulfill me long term. And so I started to explore ways to, find that communal interaction and to find like a symbiotic sort of exchange where maybe I could leverage some of my post 2010 real world experiences or physical world experiences and contribute it to, a community and help the community, and they can help me in return. And as I started to poke around Cardano, Catalyst, etc., the barriers, it seemed more accessible compared to other public blockchains. Like the barriers to entry weren't as prevalent here. And so for the past few weeks, months, I've been kind of really trying to dig in and to see ways that I can, in 2022, really kind of assign my time and efforts and resources unrelated to like monetary investments into kind of contributing to the larger vision that is public blockchain, that is Cardano. And so yeah, 2021 has been pretty fulfilling, back to the future, and has me a little bit kind of excited about 2022.
Welcome to the community.
And Luis, José, what about you?
Hi guys, good afternoon. Well, I'm very, very new to this community. I happened to get a notice by Meetup this morning, and then I subscribed to the meeting and joined for the first time. I've been involved with Cardano community a week ago. In the foundation of the Latin America community, no? Well, I live in Argentina, and I have had a curiosity about Cardano and the community around it, mainly from a technical point of view. I have a very technical background in programming. And for years, I have been very fond of a particular paradigm in programming called functional programming, and mainly in Haskell. I have been studying Haskell a couple of years, and I'm now trying to jump into the practice. Till now, I have been just reading. It is in Haskell, it is very difficult to perform that jump because it is very particular program language. And I know from the whole ecosystem around Haskell that Cardano is perhaps the main node of the ecosystem, the killer app of that ecosystem. So I am very, very exploring the community in order to size a chance of having the chance to put in practice Haskell in a real world project. So perhaps that's my driver here. That's a kind of technical driver.
One tip to you, Luis, you should
Yes.
not mention too often that you are a Haskell developer, very new to Cardano, because when you're one of the rarest people, I think, in the ecosystem, and there are so many projects to say, what?
Oh,
everybody looks for you.
Exactly.
Because of I'm very interested in Bluetooth in order to get experience in Bluetooth, because I know Bluetooth is a very slight variant in Haskell, no?
And I would definitely recommend you to join Jimmer Labs. They are doing some amazing initiatives simply by for the community as well. So like Bluetooth learning program, get in touch with it with the right people, and then amazing good community there, and very
sorry,
smart
I didn't understand what they have just suggested me.
I will send you a link.
Just wondering, I'm not too certain, but maybe Randall knows that. I think Bluetooth Banner program cohort 3 starts at some point. Maybe even registration is even open.
Okay.
So are you?
Yes, it was mentioned in the town hall, in Latin America town hall. Yes, I have taken a look at it, and it looked very surprising. So yes, I have already taken a look at. I will follow your suggestion and dig deeper in that community or in that resource.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Reach out to Randall. He's very involved there. He's one of the people leading the whole initiative.
Reach out, who, please? Sorry?
The guy with the hat.
enter classes who is thinking that you're right now. Randall.
Okay, thank you very much.
And welcome. This is amazing to have some. So you have definitely a lot of luck. You're a developer in Haskell, and you're after 1 week you join already a call where you meet some of the hardcore veterans here of the community. So you travel on the good stuff. But what would be interesting also to say, okay, you said you got in touch with Cardano 1 week ago. What was your expectation by joining this call?
Well, it looked very. It surprised me that the previous call I have taken part to. It called my attention the activity of the community. It was not just involved projects, and the sense of community took my attention, and perhaps right in this meeting it called my attention furthermore. So well, it struck my curiosity.
And your curiosity is your greatest help against a long and overwhelming journey. So have a good trip. I tell you, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of energy and effort and engagement. But what is kind of interesting to see in this community is, I think this, what we mention very often, the return of intention. I think this really something what matters a lot here. Like it was mentioned before already, what Lucio said. It's not special forcefully about the money or how much you will get out of a activity, a product or service or whatnot. It's, I think there was an interesting thing, I think it comes from Steve Eldridge. He said, I came for the money, I stayed for the community. Because I think a lot of us, what we have anyway, initially maybe some thoughts behind joining blockchain, figuring out cryptocurrencies. Oh, cool, investing, being an early bird, getting a lot of money, then becoming deeper and deeper and figuring out, wait, there's much more. I think it's really just to create a community, for me, means an environment of social incentives, which allows me a return of my intention without harming the return on intentions for others, which then defines my freedom as well, because where does my intention end? Where does yours start? And this is somehow, there's nothing written down in this regard. We don't have any guidelines to tell us how we should act, why we should act, for what we should act. And somehow we establish and build this without an architect, without a plan, without even knowing what we are actually doing here. I mean, it's still on such an early stage, and I think we know that blockchain will, when it's well done, it will have an impact on the society as internet had, or smartphones, or whatnot. And nobody of us knows how all this stuff will look like. Global on-chain governance systems with funds and whatnot. But what we are teaching each other is to take the way together, I think, without even knowing where we go to. And so the goal, yeah, the goal is, how do you say it in English? There's the expression of the goal, the aim is the way, the goal is the way. What do you call it? Being on the way, you are already at the goal, right?
Okay. Yeah, that is what might call my attention. I thought that being related with blockchain, the community would be much more pragmatic or much more money oriented. But in the previous, in my previous meeting and this one, it called my attention that the community seems very, very different from that kind of perspective.
I wonder though, how many Cardano communities are there? I mean, because sometimes I feel like there is a different group of community, calling them as a Cardano community, but they don't give that kind of feeling like we have in this Catalyst ecosystem, and kind of drives away and creates this kind of like weird articles, or maybe they are just a text. I don't know. I'm very confused. I don't know. But it does feel like there is way more of us than we know.
Definitely agree. I mean, the whole SPO ecosystem is a totally own community, right? The whole NFT ecosystem is a totally own community. And very often we are not even aware of what's happening. You have large communities on social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, Reddit, whatnot. But this is funny sometimes. So we are everywhere and nowhere. We don't even know each other. We don't even know where we are and what we do. We don't know who is acting and why he is acting. But we know we are somewhere out there, right? And everybody has a conscience that is not walking alone.
Yeah.
These are words what inspire me to start doing assessments again.
Let's do some hardcore reviews. A lot of stuff to do.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hop out. Thanks for joining and thanks for being in the community. Thanks for setting it up, Felix.
Same here. Happy New Year, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks a lot to everyone.
Thanks for all your service, you all, and for allowing me. Cheers.
See you next year.
Happy New Year to everyone. See you next year. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Felix, one thing before we go. I mean, again, when I got the email of the meeting today, or a few days ago, I say, yeah, again, Felix is taking care of us, organizing something. So thank you for that, for bringing us together in so many occasions.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.